It's the spring of 1945. Soviet troops are pouring into Nazi Germany, closing in for their final defeat over a regime that has inflicted immeasurable suffering on its people. In a small village in northern Germany, 3 teenage sisters hide in terror on their family ranch. A small group of Soviet soldiers storm in to loot and worse. They find the girls and a Polish farmhand working on the ranch. They drag them into the living room, their eyes fixed on the girls. The worst seems inevitable. Just before tragedy unfolds, the farmhand pulls himself up to shield the girls. Hey, hey, hey! He has a rifle pointed right at his face. He knows he'll be executed, but he has to try. Summoning his last remaining courage, he looks the commanding soldier right in the eye and speaks 10 words that change everything. Don't do it. You are not that type of person. What happens next is hard to believe, but it's a true story. The soldier's eyes widen, his violent gaze softens. Then he turns and he storms out of the room to loot the farm instead. You are not that type of person. With a few well-chosen words, the farmhand diffuses a dangerous situation and disarms a violent man. In that moment, the soldier decides to see a better version of himself, and his pride demands he live up to that new identity. The farmhand had hacked life, and in doing so, protected 3 young lives. One of those 3 girls is my grandmother. She turned 95 this year. Today I'm here to show you how the way you arrange your words can change your life. And it all starts with the heart. Let me explain. When we try to influence others, whether it's to prevent a tragedy, to get a great deal at work, or to create a movement for change, many of us make the same mistake. We speak to the head first and the heart second. And because we focus on logic so much, we fail to get the outcomes we desire so often. And I'm sure many of you have been there before. Take, for example, the issue of global warming. Have you ever wondered why so many people seem indifferent, even though it affects all of our futures? And environmental activists, they often make their case by bombarding us with facts. Sea levels are rising, consumerism is evil, you must change your ways. They are ringing the alarm, but they're still speaking to the brain. And what happens? People don't change. People keep consuming, and sea levels keep rising. And this fact is confirmed by research into neurobiology. Why is this? It's because people don't like being told what to do. Information alone rarely inspires action. So looking into neurobiology, we can see that no matter how much we idealize the cognitive brain, it's the emotional brain, the limbic system, that drives most decisions. So if we want to influence others, we can't focus on or rely on speaking to people's intellect alone. We need to create a new identity for them and then link that identity to an action we want them to take. I'll give you an example. In 2011, on Black Friday, the ultimate day of consumerism, Patagonia, the outdoor apparel brand, did something radical. They had a New York Times ad, and they showed a jacket with just 4 words on it. Don't buy this jacket. Now, at first glance, that may seem a bit hypocritical, right? But there was genius behind it. Patagonia had 2 main objectives. Number 1, they wanted to raise awareness for the wastefulness of fast fashion. In other words, they wanted to make people think before they buy. And number 2, they wanted to promote a new identity, the conscious consumer, someone who buys only what they truly need and values high-quality products and repairs. And what happened? Number one, their revenues skyrocketed 30% that year. But more importantly, number two, they solidified their positioning as thought leader of the responsible consumption movement. So in other words, by creating a new identity, they made it uncool not to be the conscious consumer. The lesson is, information won't drive action, but identity will. So how do effective leaders communicate? Well, they reverse the usual approach. They speak to the heart first and the head second. Now, let's be clear. Of course, when we talk about speaking to the heart, we're still speaking to people's brain, but to the limbic brain, the one that processes emotions. Let me give you another example. There's 3 steps that thought leaders take in order to create cognitive shifts in other people. Number 1, they speak to the limbic brain. Number 2, they create a new identity, one that the other person may not have considered before. And number 3, that new identity can drive new actions and open up new possibilities. And here comes the example. It's 1983, and Steve Jobs wants to hire John Sculley, then the president of PepsiCo, to join Apple as CEO. Now, Sculley was hesitant. He didn't really want to leave the security and comfort of Pepsi for Apple, a young company, despite being offered a monumental compensation package. So in a pivotal meeting, Jobs asked Sculley a simple but powerful question. Do you want to sell sugar water for the rest of your life, or do you want to come with me and change the world? That question hit Sculley's heart. It spoke to an identity he really aspired to. And guess what? He joined Apple as CEO the same year. So, you might be wondering, why does that matter? In today's world, everyone has a microphone, and words put through the right channels can mobilize millions, for good or for harm. On the one hand, this immense power is often misused. And on the other, mission-driven leaders who focus on facts alone, they fail to inspire change. So the question I'm asking myself, the question that drives me, is how can we enable not those who drop bombs, literal or metaphorical, but thought leaders who inspire human possibility? And my answer is seeds of identity. In Australia, there's a company called Airseed. Their mission is to restore lost ecosystems. They fly AI-powered drones over land affected by desertification, really dry land, and they shoot little tree seedlings from the drone into the ground. They plant up to 40,000 trees per day. Just like Airseed's drones planting trees, you and I, we all have the power to plant seeds of identity into people's hearts, seeds that can grow into human possibility. As a leader, as an activist, even as an anonymous farmhand, we can create these cognitive shifts in people as long as we remember information won't drive action, but identity will. So here's your recipe, your 3 steps for creating change through seeds of identity. Number 1, focus on, speak to the limbic brain. Number 2, create a new identity for the person you're talking to, one that the other person may not have considered before. And number 3, that new identity can drive new actions and open up new possibilities. It all starts with you, and it all starts with the heart. Thank you very much.